This is my studio, otherwise known as my bedroom. Here's a little overview of everything in my room. And here, oh, that's where I do all my graduate school work, at that window. And there's my papers. And here's where I'm doing my artwork. I got art stuff over there. I got an art closet here. I got a lot of furniture in here that's not normally here. Stuff on the floor. This is all for my thesis stuff. And I'm doing a little Google Doc thing. So I started this art making process with this painting by Edgar Ende. He is from, he died in 1965. He's a surrealist. Most of his work was destroyed by the Nazis. My question is, how do artists create art that communicates mystical, sacred, spiritual spaces and states of being? Blah, blah, blah. And then it was about world building, but I changed it to creating a world. So I start with this painting, and I make this inspired, because this isn't really how I wanted to work. It's kind of, believe it or not, this looks like realism to me. This is Jules Valancourt, and I love him. So this is inspired by Jules Valancourt. So then I did a second one of these, which is this. It looked exactly like that, but it wasn't, I was like, okay, whatever. So on the back, I drew a forest. So I got a little obsessed with the forest. And this is like a ebony pencil, and I had a sheet underneath and made a monoprint. And then I went back into it. So all these lines come from the lines on the back. And they were making like these ghost trees, and I was like, ooh, the mystical forest. And then I love how this kind of, it's like you're falling off the edge of a flat earth into this galaxy. So that was that painting. And like I said, it was a monoprint. And the monoprint made this. This was the monoprint. And I went back into it, and I was like, oh, there was like these circles, and I was like, ooh, it's like energy. And I just started to draw in the circles. And then this was also like my placemat, and the yellow was where the trees I had done in graphite imprinted. And I was like, ooh, a portal, portals, I'm gonna do portals, because that was in my thesis also. And then I did a painting all around it. I'm thinking of Joseph Campbell and, the hero's journey and the mythical forest, if that's in Joseph Campbell. So then this painting right here, this guy's in my paper. His name's Francesco Clemente. So he does these hands. I showed you that far away scene because I think it's so beautiful. But he does these hands, and then he does this. And I'm like, what? It has some weird title, which is really cool. So then I'm like, I want to do some hands. So here's my hand. Here's my hand that I did. And I was doing it based off of this weird Mexican folk art print. And this is from like 1553. And I got really obsessed with this, and I found a book called The Book of Miracles. So that's why I did the stars like that. And then on this panel, I started doing the landscape more like it is here, and I love the shooting stars, so I started doing these comets. I don't know where this piece is going to go. I don't know what's going to happen down here yet, okay? And so then, next day, I have this really nice cutout. So I have this cutout, and I start really thinking. I was listening to an interview by Ben Okri, who is also in my paper, and I was like, oh, inner worlds, and I started doing these inner worlds, and this movie is called Wings of Desire, and I had remembered this shot of this old man sitting in the library in Germany with all the globes, so I was like, ooh, globes, and it's kind of like globes going into the inner world, and then these lines are there's going to be something attached here. I'm not sure what, maybe a bird, and they're energy lines, and they're going to come off of each finger. And I know I'm here. And I have this book. Oh, I started looking at like this alchemy stuff. This is my ex-husband's book, and I was just like, this stuff is so cool and weird. And then I found this for the 5 fingers. This is a Tibetan thing, and they each mean something. And this is a book